As the saying goes, be careful who you vent to. A listening ear can quickly become a running mouth. Some people learn from terrible experiences that there are certain key things they should never let into the ears of a certain person. Sometimes you just feel uneasy after letting out a key detail about your life. We've all been there. It is better to keep certain things to yourself, no matter the urge you have to tell someone. Here are 8 of such things that if you keep a secret, your life will take off. The only thing I ask of you is to watch this video with intent and patience, and don't skip any chapters. One, your life goals. As a Stoic, you might appreciate the practical wisdom in keeping your goals private, a concept that aligns with Stoic principles. Telling people your goals make you feel good even before you accomplish them. And according to studies, this is precisely why we're less likely to accomplish a goal when we tell people about it. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher, emphasized focusing on your own actions in the process, rather than on the opinions of others. Talking to people about the things you'll do before doing them tricks your brain into feeling like you've already accomplished it. You get the dopamine reward without doing the work. This perspective is particularly relevant when considering the psychological impact of sharing goals. Studies suggest that announcing your goals can lead to a premature sense of accomplishment, tricking your brain into feeling like you've already succeeded. This can diminish your motivation to actually achieve the goal, as you've already received the dopamine reward simply by talking about it. And the more you talk about it, the less you're likely to see it through. On the other hand, keeping your goals to yourself makes you strive for the reward. You get excited about people seeing your outcome, and the dopamine reward you get from getting closer to the goal will keep you motivated. Stoicism encourages us to derive satisfaction from the process of working towards our goals, not just from the achievement itself. By keeping your goals to yourself, you maintain focus on the intrinsic reward of making progress, focusing on the journey rather than seeking validation or approval from others. The satisfaction and motivation derived from seeing your own progress and eventually reaching your goals is far more rewarding and in keeping with the Stoic pursuit of self-improvement and personal virtue. 2. Your philanthropy. You might find guidance in the Stoic principle of virtue being its own reward, especially in the context of performing good deeds. Stoicism, as taught by philosophers like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, emphasizes the importance of intention and the internal value of actions, rather than external recognition or reward. This principle is particularly relevant in the context of publicized acts of kindness. Stoicism teaches us that the true value of a good deed lies in the act itself and the intention behind it, not in the recognition or accolades it may bring. The hard truth, as you've noted, is that publicizing one's charitable acts can detract from their inherent goodness. It shifts the focus from the act of helping to the desire for attention. The best approach would be to do good for the sake of good alone. Let the satisfaction and fulfillment come from the knowledge that you've positively impacted someone's life, not from public acknowledgement or praise. This in itself is virtue and maintaining integrity in one's actions, irrespective of external validation. By keeping your good deeds to yourself, you uphold the Stoic value of selfless action and the pursuit of goodness for its own sake. 3. Your future plans. Your plans should be a private affair for several reasons. First of all, it's your life. Your plans come from the thoughts you have in your head every day. When you go to sleep, you're thinking about them. When you wake up, they're in your head. It should be a sacred thing you keep within yourself. Secondly, you should have the freedom to change your plans without having to explain yourself to anyone. When you don't tell people what your plans are, only you can know when you're failing and when you're succeeding. And when it's no longer working, you can make changes without thinking of what someone else will think of you because you didn't live up to what you said you'll do. Keeping your future plans a secret gives you a sense of freedom. It also helps you stay more focused. 4. Your sex life. I don't know about ladies, but I've seen a lot of guys who think talking about their sexual escapades makes them alpha. Some people do it out of childish excitement. Some secretly hope that talking about their sex life will get them validation among guys. Some just do it out of stupidity. Your sex life is one of the most intimate things about your relationship, and it shouldn't be a public affair for any reason. 5. Family issues. There's no family without problems, but sometimes these problems can be so overwhelming that we'll want to vent about them to get some sympathy from people. But venting about your family problems to people rarely does any good. People will only feel sorry for you. Some may even use your pitiable situation to feel good about themselves. At least, now they've seen someone who has it worse. Furthermore, talking to people about your family issues may subject your family to judgment and sometimes ridicule. Of course, there's nothing wrong with talking about important family problems to someone, but it should be someone on the inside that you can trust. Not some random friend who could easily switch sides when push comes to shove. 6. Your finances. I respect people who never share their earnings online. I think it's very mature. And it's no wonder why most of the highest earning people don't talk about their earnings. Telling people how much you make inevitably leads to one of these 3 outcomes. 1. They'll get intimidated by your income if you're way above them. 2. They'll size you up by how much they make. If your income is way below theirs, they may look down on you because of it. Thirdly, and worse, if your income is way above theirs, they may start seeing you as a source of financial help. And if you have all that money and you can't give them when they're in need, they may judge you as selfish. If you're not in a situation or line of work that requires you to expose how much you make, it's best to keep it to yourself. 7. Your weaknesses. Some people talk about their weaknesses to fish for sympathy. Some think of it as humble and noble, but it isn't. There's a big difference between being vulnerable and telling people about your weaknesses. Being vulnerable means asking someone out on a date even if you know you could be rejected. But talking about your weaknesses is more like telling your date that you've never asked anyone out in the last 5 years because you don't feel like you're good enough. Sure, some people may empathize with you, but most times, they'll only use your weakness against you. If anytime someone makes a particular joke about you, you act out. Now they know the button to press whenever they want to get to you. Don't tell people your weaknesses. But more importantly, don't show them. Some people just enjoy the fun of having control over your emotions. 8. The intimate details of your relationship. When you're in a relationship with someone, they have to be able to trust you to keep certain things between the two of you. You and your partner will know things about each other that no one else does. You'll be exposed to each other's weaknesses, vulnerabilities, insecurities, finances, past life, etc. And keeping those intimate details within yourself shows your level of respect and trust for each other. In conclusion, the 8 principles in this video are particularly relevant when deciding what personal information to share and with whom. In the context of close relationships, such as with a spouse or a significant other, there's a foundation of trust that typically makes sharing intimate details more appropriate and less risky. Stoicism does not advocate for emotional suppression, but rather for the rational management of emotions and personal disclosures. The key here, as you've pointed out, is to become more conscious of the information you share and with who you share it. Casual, less personal details may be appropriate for friends or acquaintances, while more intimate, sensitive aspects of your life should be reserved for those you deeply trust. By thoughtfully managing the details you share, you act in accordance with Stoic virtues of wisdom and self-control, ensuring that your personal disclosures align with your values and the nature of your relationships.